Paranoia is in bloom. The PR transmissions will assume they'll try to push drugs to keep us all dumbed down and hope that they will never see the truth around. Another promise, another scene, another package lie to keep us trapped in greed. Another green bells wrapped around our minds, an endless red tape to keep the truth confined. They will not force us. They will stop degrading us. They will not control us. We will be victorious.
What does that big red thing say?
I don't know.
I can't see what it says.
I don't know what big red thing you're talking about.
I don't know. It's in the comments. I'm so confused. I have no fucking clue.
There's nothing in the
Anyway,
comments.
so
Hello.
yeah, tonight's show is gonna be fucking heavy. It's extremely emotional for everyone. And it's pretty fucking depressing and exhausting. So Andrew, what is just like overview? What have you been feeling the past week?
Sadness, a lot of frustration. I think this is also on top of everything that's going on. You're really just seeing the propaganda play itself out as well. The manufacturing consent of war and the dehumanization of Palestinian people. We literally have flyers going around in the city of Boston talking about people that apparently Hamas has kidnapped and completely ignoring the fact that there's been a lot of children who have been killed and kidnapped on the Palestinian side, which I think is completely absurd. And yeah.
I think I was just talking about this before the show, and I think, and I made a post about this on Twitter earlier. I think that as Americans, we are so privileged and our thinking is so binary that we conceptualize this idea that everyone is this, everyone in these countries thinks the same exact way. Everyone in Ukraine must want the war against Russia. Every Palestinian is Hamas.
Right.
And there's this, like, there is no critical thinking. It's just Hamas is Palestine. Obviously, they are all the same. Obviously, they all want to destroy Israelis. Like, there is no. The Western mainstream media is culpable in so many things going on. Excuse me. And it's really frustrating, and it's, you see what a stranglehold the so-called news has on people, and it's very obvious when you hear talking points from people that they are all practically verbatim. So that's where we come in.
That is where we come in. So we'll be talking a lot about different aspects of Israel and Palestine. But first, we'll start with some labor strikes that are happening. Update on that. Since, hey, this gives us a little bit more hope on the world. Um, Give me 1 second. Stop sharing. Sorry, my computer is acting up. Let's try this again. All right. Okay, so Black union workers are under siege in Memphis. For decades, workers who make protein for Nestle made a fair living. After a $26 billion takeover, a new owner wants to take away lunch breaks and destroy the union. Workers won't back down.
Taking
And
away
so,
lunch
yeah.
is illegal.
It is, yet somehow
So now, when this says black, is this are they primarily black, or is it black people who are saying they won't do this?
It's primarily black. That's how, yeah. So,
do they think that has something to do with? I mean, let's be honest, I'm sure it does. But is that kind of one of their accusations that, it is obviously because they are black that this is happening?
mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
yeah, I see people watching and there's nobody in the comments. So please step it up. We miss you guys. We are depressed as fuck right now and we need some solidarity. So make yourselves known. We love our family. Sorry, Andrew.
We certainly do. We certainly do. All right. For whatever reason, they didn't want me to show you this. It's taken forever, but here we go. Thanks for your patience, everybody. All right.
Want us to get the crumbs that fall on the ground. Nothing. They want to, matter of fact, they want to take it all away from you. And that's the part that I can't understand.
I think these guys are getting in the back room, smoke-filled room, and they're saying, hey, let's do this. Let's try to kill and let's try to change the market so we don't have to worry about unions anymore.
Since June, unionized food manufacturing workers in Memphis have been on strike against management, against the conglomerate that owns their factory, and against an economy that's still tilted against workers. The factory makes soy protein isolate. Its clients are some of the biggest food manufacturers in the world, including Nestle, Abbott, and virtually anyone that makes a protein bar. The factory has been in operation for decades, providing good middle-class jobs until now.
It's not just about the contract at this point. It's about being able to assemble and unionize and fight for your working conditions in general.
The strike was forced upon us. Nobody wanted to strike. We didn't want to come out here. Me being second generation, my father retired from here. I would like to be able to preserve this job for the next generation.
When we started negotiation, we brought forth about 19 proposals, and only a few of them affected people monetarily, and we agreed on absolutely nothing.
We have a sister plant that's in Gibson City. Right before we went through negotiations, those guys the maintenance department end up with a 9% pay increase, and the production department end up with a 6% pay increase. They didn't ask to eliminate anything, but since it's 90% of African American in a predominantly African American town.
For years, the factory was owned by DuPont Chemical, which agreed to contracts with good benefits and working conditions. But it was sold in 2020 to a conglomerate called International Flavors and Fragrances, and that's when things began to get dire. IFF made more than $4 billion in gross profit in 2022, but now it wants to take away overtime and wreck worker healthcare plans. They even want to take away paid lunch breaks.
Company doesn't want to give us what we deserve. They don't want to give us the anything after 8. They don't want to give us better benefits. They don't want to give us, the ability to take breaks freely with no consequence. They don't want to give us incentives. And so we're fighting for those unions that want to continue to fight for their betterment.
The sanitation strike happened here in Memphis. If you can't stand for something that you truly believe in and your history have a way to go over again.
I would think that it would get better, but it hasn't. Instead of it getting better, it's going downhill. We're going back to slavery time. Anytime you take all your stuff away, you have no rights, no say so, no nothing.
Well, right now we have a year notice on our health benefits. Well, all of our benefits actually. They want to change that to 30 days. What that would mean for us is that all they have to do is give us a 30-day notice. They can take whatever they want away. Our premiums have gone up. Our premiums have doubled and tripled.
Before we switched over to universal health care, we had Aetna. And Aetna was actually pretty good. Each week with Aetna, I was paying $167 a week. And this is for a family of 4. So for me, my husband, and my 2 children. Now I'm paying almost $300. That is a significant chunk out of my paycheck. I would at least get $700 a week. But now that it's dwindled down to almost $500, $400, $500.
IFF's holdings and subsidiaries make it a massive corporation. It owns the single largest share of the flavors and fragrances market and owns one of the largest shares of the soy protein market. Much of that comes thanks to the workers in Memphis.
We put our life into our jobs because we held it to a higher standards. We had to recognize what we're doing. We're not making dog food or nothing like that. We're feeding the world. Babies, old folks like me, and people with different health issues, drink the insurance, different stuff like that from them.
They very much rely on us, but they may claim that they don't by saying that since we've been on strike, we're going to hire what we need to keep it running. But the last time I checked, without us, you can't run the metric tons you need each day. Now we're running less than pretty much 90% less than what we usually run in a day.
And when it comes down to the final product stuff, that's what matters. Then it's a lot of unskilled, unknowledgeable people in their work who put their life on the line every day because it's stuff in there. It only takes a split second for something to go wrong where you're going to be missing a foot, a toe, a head. We got that kind of equipment in there. We run those pieces of equipment like that. And if you don't know what you're doing, you'll get hurt. You'll get hurt or lose your life.
They absolutely want to, in my opinion, they want to break up the union. This is one of the few jobs in the city that pays above the average warehouse wage.
They're trying to force us out in hopes of, having a company without a union because unions are fighting for stuff that they don't want to give.
We're a single shop union. So, it's kind of hard for 150 people to fight $1 billion corporation. It is. Seems like they got endless money, endless resources. But it's going to come a time where they're going to need to produce. And that's where we come in.
That's so fucked up. They have a warning of a year that their insurance is going to cancel and they're trying to make it 30 days. What's that say? I can't see what it says.
$160 a week for insurance premium is kind of bullshit if you ask me. From Jenna. Yeah.
Well, the one thing I do want to point out as well, though, is that one woman did say universal health care. And I want to make the point that this is a tactic that we saw a lot in 2016 and 2020 when unions were endorsing Bernie. Their corporations were saying universal health care and Medicare for all is going to bankrupt this company. You will have no jobs, things like that. And that's the kind of thing they were saying. So it's conjecture, but I almost wonder if that's what they were telling, this woman. And that's why she called it that. Because when you're paying for it, it's not universal health care, it's insurance.
Yeah.
It's just a sidebar, but that was just kind of like, what? But yeah, that's fucked up. And that guy's so right. Like, they have the power because they are the ones who are physically doing the labor. And shout out to them. But that woman was right too. She said this is modern day slavery, and it's wage slavery. It is. I mean, it's capitalism. I know that word is thrown around and overused so much, but it is capitalism.
And this is, I mean, notice how DuPont owned the company beforehand, and then it was bought out by IFF. And this reminds me of what I saw a few days ago as well that happened in Wisconsin. Spectrum had a plant and then it got bought out a few years ago, I believe, from Energizer. And now Energizer is shipping all of their jobs out down in the South, right, where they're not unionized. And a lot of people are getting laid off from there. So I think it's great that they are striking now, just because you do have to wonder, okay, is that next? They're already really exploiting them. Are they going to then try and outsource their jobs, or move, maybe in this case, even move their jobs down to the South, or as we know, down to other countries, right? So yeah, that's just one that, particularly when it comes to, I mean, and they even mention, right? These are one of the few jobs that are really around, right? And that's how they get you, right? These are the types of jobs, and they're kind of like, oh, well, where else are you going to go? And that's why it's important that as unions, they're willing to strike, and they're willing to kind of set the bar straight now from the get-go, like, hey, you're not going to be cutting back on our benefits.
Absolutely. That's a great point. We absolutely have, between TPP and all the other absolute garbage, we have we outsource jobs all the time. And, that's one thing that Trump said he was going to do that he didn't do. And we know damn right well Biden ain't going to do it, right. Which is get rid of these trash trade deals. So yeah, they absolutely, if people start asking too much, they can just outsource.
Right.
But solidarity with them, kick ass for being in this fight.
For sure. So now we're going to be moving on and talking about Israel, Palestine. So yeah, Joy, do you want me to just start by showing the first video, or do you have anything you would like to start with?
I'm so depressed. It's probably best you just show the video and we'll just go from there.
Sure. Okay.
You want me to support Israel? My Israel? Fuck no, never. Absolutely not. You're disgusting. Israel. We're talking about the same Israel? My Israel? It's my Israel, by the way. It's mine. I own it. You see, it's my birthright. For those of you who don't know, because I was born a Jewish man, I own the land of Palestine and Israel. It is my fucking blood right. That's not me saying that. That's the state of Israel, by the way. They told me, hey man, because you're technically a Jew, Israel's yours. It's always been yours. Come on down. Come see the homeland. This is me being a dick. This is the state of Israel literally saying this to me. If you are a Jewish person, they offer you what's called birthright. Birthright. The opportunity to come to Israel for free on the Israeli dime and see Israel. It's a timeshare pitch. It's a fucking timeshare pitch. They want you to come see the city, dance in Tel Aviv, eat some kebabs, kick some Palestinians out of their homes, and then they'll try and get you to move there. And they'll do it like this pitch, like it's family, it's unity, it's an Israeli homeland. Nah, guys, it's an apartheid state. It's the greatest shame of the Jewish people. It's disgusting. You want me to condemn terrorists? Easy. I condemn the state of Israel, and I condemn Hamas, the terrorist organization supported by the state of Israel. That was fucking easy. Hamas is a puppet of Israel, guys. It was founded by Israel. It was funded by Israel with the sole intention of destabilizing Palestine, because it's really fucking hard for your country to get its shit together when the one political party being funded by your fucking enemy is Islamic terrorists. All right? And that's literally the explicit strategy of the Israeli government. All right. So, yeah, I denounce terrorism in all forms. I denounce the baby killers, the Israeli state who is bombing a city full of children right now. Gaza's mostly kids, guys. 65% of the population is under 24. Half of them are under 18. It is a fucking city of kids. Every time on CNN or MSNBC, every fucking shit show you're watching in order to see all these kids get killed, every time they list the dead Gazans, half of it's just kids. That's the fucking math. Half of it's just kids. You want me to condemn savagery and barbarism? Fucking easily. Who's the savages? Who's the savages? The people living in the open air prison who are revolting? Or the people running the open air prison and carpet bombing children? We are not judged by how well we take care of ourselves. We are judged by how we take care of our brothers. And the Israelis have taken their brother and treated him like a dog, and beaten him and caged him and denied him food and water and shelter and love. And now when the dog lashes out in violence and anger because the dog knows it's about to fucking die, they then use it as justification to kill their fucking brother. And when the Lord returns, it will look to the children of Israel and he will ask them, where is your brother? Do I support Israel? Fuck no, never. Fuck no, never.
It's powerful. Very powerful. And we're seeing a lot of our Jewish brothers and sisters coming out and standing with Palestinians. And we have another video about that as well.
Yeah, I can show that now.
What was your take when you watched that video? Did you hear me?
I mean, I think, this is one thing I've learned recently. Yeah, I did. Yeah. This is one thing he brings up that I actually learned recently. And it's fascinating because there's actually a video of Ron Paul, of all people, saying this.
Yep, I included it. I don't know if we can get to it, but I included it.
Yeah, but we'll at least give it a reference, where he was saying, right, that Israel has funded Hamas, right, and it purposely funded Hamas because, to my understanding, right, Hamas has always had anti-socialist values, and so this was a way for him to kind of do Israel to do the Pied Piper strategy, right, of providing them resources. And of course, unfortunately, we can also make this analogy to many other instances where groups that have been deemed as terrorist groups have been propped up by the West, and then they're provided all these resources to then attack later. The U.S. did it with the Mujahideen to fight the Soviet Union. That was then the beginning of them funding 9/11, essentially. Then they became Al Qaeda, right? Feel free to fact check me on all this, but yeah. So I think that was just that needs to be spread more so, because especially when people are constantly saying, trying to conflate Hamas with the Palestinians, right? With the 50% of the Palestinians living in Gaza being children, right? I think that distinction needs to always be made, because first of all, Hamas is not all of Palestinians. And second of all, this group was propped up by Israel. And if more people knew that, I think maybe people would be seeing this whole conflict in a different way.
But I'm trying to tell people that. And people are like, yes. Okay, so you know this. Then what's the fucking problem?
Yeah.
Because there are people in my life who will acknowledge that Hamas was started by Israel, and they will acknowledge that Palestinian people have been attacked, raped, tortured, murdered, and still are, and are being deprived of food, water, medical care, and everything else, and a genocide is being committed, and they will still not say the words free Palestine.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a war. This is a genocide. And you are either with the oppressor or the oppressed. That's all you need to know. There is one that has all the money and all the weapons, and there is one that is being tortured and murdered. Which fucking side are you on? Period. Because history is not going to look kindly on those who stand with those who are doing the fucking torturing.
Yeah. Absolutely. So now we'll go ahead and show this other clip that Chuck Modi's account. So let me read.
Love you, Chuck. Thank you for your incredible, incredible work. You know, I love you, and you've been a great friend to the show.
So the caption, we're going to make it impossible to use Jewish grief for U.S. imperial interests. They're going to have to name the real reasons for U.S. policy: power, weapons, oil, racism, Islamophobia. They cannot do this in our name. So this is a Jews rally in D.C. to stop Gaza genocide, free Palestine.
Islamophobia. We are going to make it impossible for them to use Jewish grief and fear as collateral damage for U.S. imperial interests. They are going to have to start naming the real reasons behind U.S. government policy in the Middle East: power, weapons, oil, racism, Islamophobia. They cannot do this in our name. Not 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 in our name. We are going to make it impossible.
That was by far one of the most powerful clips I've seen, if not the most. I, really put into perspective. I went to a rally yesterday, a Free Palestine rally yesterday, and I spoke with a Jewish woman who was like, they are using us to prop up this genocide. People who aren't even Jewish are saying you cannot support Palestine because you're anti-Semitic.
Right.
You're not Jewish. Why are you saying that?
Yeah.
Why? It's not even your place to say that.
No.
And this video was just so powerful, and it's, it makes your heart hurt for those who are Jewish and who are people of color who do not want this. I have a dear friend who texted me last night, and she said, I, as a brown person, am scared to come out and say free Palestine. I'm scared. I want to. I'm with them. Mm-hmm. I'm scared. And it breaks your heart, because it's like, we do it as white people, but we're able to do it. Mm-hmm. We still get shit. We still get attacks, things like that. We still get ignorance. But it really puts things into perspective when someone in your life who is from the Middle East and Muslim and texts you and says that.
Yeah. Going off of that, there was this community page, Facebook page, where I live, and it's a nice Facebook group because it's the whole purpose is exchanging things freely, right? I have these things that I can give away, right? Who wants to pick them up? Some people say that they are in need of things, so then it's the good neighborhood community type of page, right? Good little mutual aid, if you will. One woman asked in this page if anyone had any Palestine flags, right? And she said, I'd like to, I realize a lot of people have different opinions, right? But I'd like to think this is a safe space for me to say I'd like a Palestine flag. As you can imagine, a bunch of people started commenting and saying this is disgraceful and everything. Of course, calling her anti-Semitic. She happens to be as she put it, in the words she put it, a black bisexual Jewish woman. And she herself had to be like, all right, like she kept saying, and of course a lot of white people were calling out for being anti-Semitic, and she's like, I'm curious how that works. I'm a black bisexual Jewish woman. And she ended up having to herself, not the admins to their credit, but herself, she was like, these are disgusting comments that I'm getting. I'm going to stop this now. And she, you can make it so that people don't comment. But that just shows, right, how the fear is real. People who are in positions, right? So, who are Jewish and even in, has additional marginalized identities is being called anti-Semitic. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So going off of that, we're going to read a question that Miss Jean Pierre was asked regarding certain people in Congress who are demanding a ceasefire. I believe there's 13 people in Congress now who are demanding a ceasefire.
Republicans.
And
Republicans.
What'd you say?
They're all
Democrats.
Republicans.
Well, there were 13 Congress people who were Democrats who asked for a ceasefire.
Oh, there are 13 Democrats.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Surprising.
Yeah. Republicans are not there. They are the most war hawkish when it comes to quote unquote supporting Israel.
No, they are saying to cut off aid though.
Okay, yeah, but they're not saying to.
But that's monetary, so.
Yeah, they're not saying anything about a ceasefire. There are 13 Democrats, Congresspeople who are. But yeah, there have been some members of Congress who have called for a ceasefire, and they have not gone as far as backing the administration's call for support for Israel. Miss Jean Pierre. So look, I've seen some of those statements this weekend, and we're going to continue to be very clear. We believe they are wrong. We believe they're repugnant, and we believe they're disgraceful. Nice. Calling for a ceasefire is repugnant and disgraceful.
Even the people who have stated at least open up the borders to let aid go through have been called disgusting. So, I mean, we have to, really dissect this. You don't want babies to die, but you're cool if they're Palestinian. You don't want people to starve, but you're cool if they're Palestinian. Like, it's so fucking maddening.
Yep.
This is so beyond selective outrage.
And so there you have some footage. I can show the footage of today's Free Palestine Solidarity rally in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
That was yesterday. Yeah. I was actually at a theater seeing Stop Making Sense for like the billionth time, and a gentleman approached me and he's like, you know, there's a movie being shown in an hour or a half hour, and there's also going to be a Free Palestine rally a block away. And I'm like, I'm staying. So we watched this film about Gene Sharp, who was pretty rad. If you want to scroll down, he was a nonviolent revolutionary. Really great guy. I definitely recommend it. It's a film from 2008. I had not heard of it, so I was really excited to watch it. And, you know, it got us all going to, you know, it got us ready to go to the rally. And then I put some photos in this thread, some of my most favorite photos. This one is, I can't see what that is. Let me enlarge this.
The caption is, "These are not terrorists. These are Palestinians who lost their young nephew in Gaza yesterday." That helps. Look at the pain in their cries.
Yes, this woman on our right here in the black hijab, she found out before the rally yesterday that her 14-year-old nephew was killed. As you can see by her face and the pain in the woman's face on the left as well. These are people in a lot of pain and people who are scared. This gentleman right here, the second in, I think he's wearing black. When he got up to speak, he stated that, as you guys know, I'm in Harrisburg. He stated that at the rally, the Free Palestine rally on Friday at the Harrisburg State Capitol, Saturday, his aunt had a gun put to her head in front of her little son and him and everybody else. Footage has been released. So yeah, they were there protesting and rallying for free Palestine, and as they stood there, his aunt had a gun put to her head. Why? She looks like that.
Wow.
Yeah. This sign I thought was perfect. This young woman on the left, Cece, I talked to her for quite some time. And if you scroll down a little, we can see this young lady's sign. That's just, I mean, it's just one of the most perfect quotes for a child like this, if you can read that.
If you are not careful, the newspaper will have you hating the people being oppressed and loving the people doing the oppressing. Malcolm X.
How true is that?
Mm-hmm. And then,
so these are just some photos. For those who don't know, Lancaster, Pennsylvania is Amish country. Like, I'm legit talking covered wagons, like horses, you know, shit like that. And it's 81% white.
Mm-hmm.
When they said they were having a Free Palestine rally, immediately I thought, fuck, counter protesters. because at Harrisburg, we always get them. Always, always, always. Anytime it's anything having to do with LGBTQ or people of color, counter protesters. But I am so happy to say there were at least 100 people there yesterday.
Nice.
And many were white. And everyone was out in solidarity, and it was so powerful. I could not have been more surprised. I did not expect that. And as people, one of the best things about doing protests is always people driving by and going boo, 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 and cheering and beeping, and that's always, I just got goosebumps. I love that so much. So it was a really beautiful experience, although very somber, obviously.
Of course.
The next picture down, like, this guy just really touched my heart. If you can scroll down a little more, he's what, I don't know, at least late 80s, at least. He did not walk well, and he had this sign talking about peace hanging around his neck. And I thought, oh my God, that needs to be us. That needs to be us. When we are that age, we have to keep going. He was all by himself, and it just, like, it's powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, this one, you got to scroll down a little more. Here are two little babies. You got to scroll a little more. Two little babies waving the entire time, waving the Palestinian flags. I mean, just the entire time standing there waving it. I don't know that they understand how powerful that image was.
Mm-hmm.
But that just, yeah, it's powerful.
And then, yeah, so before the rally,
this one, if you want to read this.
Before the rally, the organizers passed around pens and asked us to write our name on the palm of our hand. At the end of the rally, they explained the significance. It's what Palestinians are doing to help make their bodies more identifiable when they're found. Free Palestine. That's chilling.
It is. It really is. That's how badly their bodies, just how bad their bodies are. They're writing their fucking names on their hands.
And it just shows the mentality where you're there. It's always, I could be dying tomorrow, so later today. So make the preparation now of identifying myself, so that, like, I can't imagine what that's like, to having to directly plan for your potential death and funeral by writing your name and feeling like it's necessary in that sense. And it's also just very, I don't know. I'm not even going to go into that, but yeah.
And there's 200 hostages right now that Israel is holding who are Palestinian.
And that was where, if we're going full circle from the beginning, right? Mentioning that there are signs of right now in Boston of Israelis who are kidnapped by Hamas, right? So what I think is, and if that is the case, that is repugnant and horrible, right? Just be clear.
Sure.
However, what Joy just said, it's completely one-sided, ignoring the amount of hostages Israel has, right? And so this imbalance is, I mean, first of all, it's causing, it's perpetuating how little Palestinians are being thought of as human, right? because first of all, people are conflating Hamas with Palestine and the Palestinians, which is, 50, as what was mentioned earlier, 50% of the people who live in the Gaza Strip are children, right? And
why? Because a lot of their parents have been killed. That's a fact. That's why.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, and it's causing, we're going to go into it next, but this is what's causing literal hate crimes that are being created here in the United States against Palestinians.
Or people they think are Palestinians because, oh my God, they have brown skin. They must be, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
There have been, I was just telling Andrew before the show, in Harrisburg, there's already been 3 mosques on lockdown because of threats, just in Harrisburg.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, if you tuned in, you saw me and Andrew talking about 9/11 in the sense that it created that fear of people in the Middle East, and that oh my God, they're all horrible, they're all terrorists. And when you're going to a Free Palestine rally and you're having a gun put to your head and you're going to your place of worship and you're on lockdown because of threats, that is no, America, like, I'm so proud to be in America. No. I feel shame. I feel shame because my government is saying that we support what Israel is doing. And that's something that I want to be very clear that I've been talking about on social media a lot. It is not, a common thing in the rally yesterday was the Palestinian people were saying, we have no problem with Israelis. We have a problem with their government.
Mm-hmm.
That is the difference. That is the difference. No, like, none of us are like anti-Israelis. We are anti-apartheid state. We are
And a lot of Israelis don't like what the government is doing, too.
Exactly.
They are disgusted by Netanyahu.
Exactly. Right? These people don't even like Netanyahu. Are you crazy? He's already been arrested. He's already been kicked out.
Right.
And then he was sent back without their approval. But the government is what rules. Just like we don't agree with this bullshit they're doing about giving more weapons and money and everything like that. It's out of our hands. But I don't, I guarantee people around the world think Americans want this genocide because of what our government is doing. It's the same thing. These Israeli people are not automatically like, kill Palestinians. That's not how it is. It's government. And it is so easy for people to be like, you say you hate all Israelis. No, you say you hate all Russians, but that's not what we're doing. We're saying their government are terrorists. That's what we're saying.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like this whole episode should be content warning. But just letting you know, this is I feel like sometimes when you're telling an individual story, it can kind of hit you a little more. Because
and people, guess what? This is an American story.
A hate crime. So, Chicago area landlord charged with hate crime in killing of 6-year-old Palestinian boy, stabbing of mom. Plainfield Township landlord is accused of killing a 6-year-old Palestinian American boy and stabbing that boy's mother because they were Muslim. Have a little bit of issue with that framing, but we'll keep going. Prosecutors said Joseph Zuba, 71, wanted the victims to move out of the home they rented from him and believed he and his wife were in danger because he feared the woman he stabbed was going to call over her Palestinian friends or family to harm them. Zuba now faces several charges, including 3 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of attempted first-degree murder, 2 counts of aggravated battery, 2 hate crime accounts. The 2 victims were targeted because they were Muslim and because of the war between Israel and Hamas, according to Will County Sheriff's Office. During his court appearance on Monday, a Will County judge denied Zuba pretrial release after prosecutors argued he was a danger to both the boy's mother and the general public. The Justice Department has also opened an investigation into the case. The FBI is also now looking into federal hate crime charges. Yeah. So this is what happens when Hamas is conflated with the Palestinians, when it's conflated with the people who live in Gaza, right? This exact thing. He immediately thought, oh, I have Palestinian tenants. They're going to call over terrorists to attack me, right?
And how interesting that so many Democrats right now are like, we need border control. What? Wait, what?
And all the Republicans. Yeah.
So now who's sounding exactly like Republicans? Because you're like, we need stronger border control. We need to keep out this, that, and the other person. And it's like, you guys you're Republicans. Like,
Yeah.
you are Republicans.
I thought it was very interesting framing at the beginning of this article how they said the guy is being accused, right?
Oh, yeah.
Even at the start, they had to frame it as if this guy somehow, or at least subtly hint that this guy somehow who killed these Palestinians, this Palestinian child, right? He's being accused of it, right? As opposed to it's looking
But,
like
he admitted it. So what do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like they have to go to trial to
Yeah.
be found guilty. He fucking admitted it.
Because if the shoe were on the other foot, they would not say this person's being accused. They would say this person admitted to killing Jews, Israelis, right? So that's the double standard.
Remember when that happened? Remember when the Tree of Life in Pittsburgh happened? And everyone was like, rightly so, you should be able to go to your place of worship and feel safe, which is absolutely, you should be able to go anywhere and feel safe. Absolutely correct.
Absolutely.
But
you should be able
now,
to go to your synagogue, church, mosque, or anywhere else place of worship.
Now it's a mosque. It's different.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And I guarantee you, in many places, there's probably a lot more cops who are at synagogues than at mosques protecting those institutions.
I know for a fact in Harrisburg because they said it on the local news.
Yeah.
They said they were at 6 synagogues and 3 mosques.
Yep.
And the irony is, here's the irony. Those of us who are free Palestine are anti-war. We're anti-violence. So the fact that you're like, you're putting more focus on Jewish people, even though we have, like, people who are free Palestine we are anti-imperialist. We are anti-violence. We are anti-genocide. People who are racist and xenophobic and anti-Palestine, they are pro-violence. They are the ones who are going to be acting out. That's the just mind-blowing, just stupidity.
Yep. So, in the wake of this, we do have
some
a little
funny
bit
that's
of
not really that funny, but it is kind of funny because, like,
it's funny, but it's
it's on
true.
brand.
Yeah. So, House Democratic lawmaker floats Bush for Speaker of the House.
Democrat.
Oh, look, empathic times. Please tell me this is a fucking joke. Love how Amira's comment is at the top there.
Who said it?
Amira commented on this. I just
Oh,
had her
Amira
scroll
did.
down, and she said, "Please tell me this is a joke."
Oh my God, man.
So, who do you know who this House Democrat is?
I didn't recognize the name. I clicked on the article. I didn't recognize the name at all.
Oh,
But yeah, I mean, like, there was that thing, you know, everybody was trying to rehabilitate George W. You know, it was like, oh, look at his painting, and oh, Michelle Obama gives him butterscotch candies, and, you know, Ellen's friends with him, and all this stuff. So yeah, this is on brand. I will say I'd prefer it was Jeb, because Jeb and that please clap moment was phenomenal, and at least he's entertaining.
yeah, he is. He's painfully entertaining, I guess. Yeah.
What's
So, going forward, Joy, I know you have a call to action.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, so I'll just read it. This Wednesday at noon in D.C., stand with our Jewish brothers and sisters as they say no to genocide and free Palestine now. The government is not we the people. We do not want war. They do not speak for us. This is one of the most pivotal moments of our lives. We need.
Yep. So noon at the White House, Free Palestine rally with our Jewish brothers and sisters, calling for a ceasefire. It's also going on today and tomorrow. I think Wednesday is a different group. But yeah, it's going to continue going on. These groups have stated that they will not leave that White House area until Biden calls a ceasefire, which is going to be a very long stakeout. Unfortunately, 17 people were arrested today. They were nonviolent, but when they were asked to move and stop protesting, they did not. That's what's up. So I may be going to DC on Wednesday to join that protest. I have to really think about it because it's something I really want to do, but it's very hard for me as a blind person with a cane to try and think about, like, large gatherings with thousands of people. Am I going to be able to get around? Am I going to be am I going to trip? It's really hard for me. So I really got to think about it. Things are very different now than they were a few years ago. But if I do go, of course, I'll go live and take lots of pictures. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. This Friday, I am going to be on a Welsh podcast, Welsh Republic. They want to talk to me about East Palestine, Ohio. Palestine. I've been saying East Palestine for 8.5 months, and now I'm on Palestine. Also, if you haven't seen it, please check out when I was on Lee Camp's show the other day, also talking about East Palestine, Ohio, and releasing my recording of my meeting with the stooge of the EPA from East Palestine. Palestine. Damn it. So yeah, and I have some other fun things coming up as well. Andrew, what is going on with you?
Not too much. I'm looking to see. I might see if there's some rallies that I can attend in Boston regarding this. So that's what I'll be doing in the meantime. And then other than that, yeah, we'll see you next week.
Awesome. Well, if you go, you best be going live.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's in order. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have a few extra bucks, buy me a coffee, Savage Joy Marie Man. I have been traveling and I would like to do more mutual aid, and I am broke AF. So I definitely need some help if I'm going to keep doing the show. So thank you guys so much again for watching. I will probably go live again later this week. But I love you guys so much. And what does that say?
No, it's just a link to buy me a coffee.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, and also I'm using a keyboard that's not accessible because my other one broke. So I have like all kinds of issues. So yeah, I kind of need some help from my wonderful viewers. But yeah, thank you so much, and I will see you soon. Much love.